Namaskar, Annyeong Hasanika. Friends, I'm truly delighted to welcome you all from Seoul, Republic of Korea. This is Sonu Trivedi, Director of the Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center at the Embassy of India with you all today at this inaugural session of the second online academic workshop on Facets of India, Republic of Korea partnership. A truly masterclass, I must say, by top class, best and brightest minds from Republic of Korea and India joining us live here today. I'm especially delighted to share that the Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center at the Embassy of India in Seoul, under the dynamic leadership of our Ambassador, Her Excellency Shri Priya Ranganathan, and her team has been a pioneer, in fact, a first in starting this truly intellectual enterprise. We organized the very first online workshop on Facets of Modern India in September 2020, exactly a year ago. The sole focus of the workshop was to develop a rich and nuanced understanding of modern India, the civilization, the state in all its diverse manifestations among the audiences abroad that always wanted to know more and more about India. At the Cultural Center, we have always endeavored to bring the diverse cultural canvas of India at your doorsteps, wherever you are in the world. Keeping up with its mission of promoting the cultural and educational cooperation and building upon people-to-people ties between the two countries of India and Republic of Korea. Today, we are before you to bring the Facets of India-Republic of Korea partnership at this truly international forum. Friends, this workshop is a part of the series of India at 75 or Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. Right up to August 15, 2022, which will mark the 75th anniversary of India's independence from colonial rule, India will celebrate through events including international conferences, lectures, and workshops, cultural events, including visual art performances, film shows, yoga demonstrations, and workshops, Buddhist events, painting and art competitions, etc. The Cultural Center and the Embassy of India, Seoul, too, will also organize a series of events to mark this joyous occasion, with a special focus on the themes of relevance to the India-Republic of Korea relationship. Today, it is a matter of great honor for me to host this second online workshop. We have an excellent panel lined up for the next 2 weeks, all experts in their own domain to discuss about the facets of India-Republic of Korea partnership. It is a personal pleasure and delight to welcome all the participants, scholars, researchers, journalists, and students joining us live here today from India and Republic of Korea, and also joining from other parts of the world. Friends, let me make some announcement before we formally begin. We have the facility of simultaneous Korean interpretation. You can check the language option available at the bottom of your screen and select the language option which you are comfortable in. Attendance link for the participants will be shared 10 minutes before the session ends. Certificate of participation will be given to only those who attend all the sessions. We are live streaming the session and request you to share the link on your timeline for any future point of reference. I also request you all to follow our social media handles for more updates about our future events. Without much ado, let us begin with the deliberations, which will be followed by open house discussion and live interaction by the participants. I'm extremely pleased to have amongst us Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and Ambassador Youngju, President of the Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security, who will be the keynote speakers in the session, and Dr. Cho Deuk, Research Professor from IFANS, will preside over the session, along with the presence of Her Excellency Shri Priya Ranganathan, Ambassador of India to Republic of Korea. With these words, let me call upon Ambassador Shri Priya Ranganathan for her welcome remarks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sonu. Her Excellency, Vice Minister of India, Vice Foreign Minister of India, Ambassador Riva Ganguly Das, Her Excellency Ambassador Youngju, the President of the Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security, Research Professor Dr. Cho Deuk, Professor, Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security, my dear friend, Professor Dr. An, the co-chair of the Korea-India Strategic Dialogue, all our partner institutions, members of think tanks, academia, journalists, students, and friends of India and Korea, participating in this workshop, inaugural session of our workshop today. I welcome you all. Annyeongha Shimnika. Namaste. It's truly a delight, as Sonu has said, to have the presence of all of you at this first session of our fortnight-long workshop, at which we will be seeking to explore in some depth some of the very, very topical elements of the India-ROK partnership. This is a special strategic partnership which has evolved and grown and strengthened over time to really become a sturdy partnership with deep roots. And we are very confident that the myriad facets that have emerged over time, in which we are constantly exploring and trying to leverage as part of what we seek to do, not only in our own countries, but what we seek to do globally, that these are facets that we will be able to explore in some small part in the course of this workshop. We have tried to choose partner organizations who bring with them domain expertise. We've tried to choose experts who have a certain knowledge of the India-ROK partnership, who have a certain knowledge of the theme that we are seeking to explore. And we are hopeful that as a result of this, like a good academic exercise, we will, as practitioners of diplomacy, be able to benefit from the insights that all these experts and institutions will be able to share with us. Turning to our theme for today, which is the scope for synergy between India and ROK within the framework of the ROK's New Southern Policy and India's Act East policy within the region to which we all belong, and that is the Indo-Pacific region. I think these have become really buzzwords both in India and in the Republic of Korea, buzzwords which mean something to practitioners of to those who are formulating public policy, to those who are practicing diplomacy, and to those who are studying diplomacy. I think in all these facets, we are finding that the New Southern Policy, the Act East policy, and the Indo-Pacific region all have a certain salience and a certain resonance, which we are experiencing in all our dealings. I think that there is no conversation that we in India are having now at the Foreign Office level with our partners around the world, in which the concept of the Indo-Pacific does not come up. We are asked what is our outlook on the Indo-Pacific. We ask what is our partners' outlook on the Indo-Pacific. Where is the scope for us to make the most of this very exciting region to which we both belong? And I think India and ROK are really fortunate to be part of this, of a region which has so much of promise, so much of potential, whether it is in the space of maritime security, whether it is in the space of handling the, leveraging the opportunities of the blue economy, whether it is in the space of dealing with one of the foremost challenges that we face today, that is climate change. How can we work together? How can we reap the strengths that each other have in order to help each other to achieve our national and our international goals? I guess these are the kind of conversations that we are constantly seeing. I am truly looking forward to the keynote addresses, both by my own Vice Minister, Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, and the President of IFANS, Her Excellency Youngju. I think that there would be a lot that we have to listen to and learn from what you will both have to say. So with these words, I would like to end by turning the mic back to the moderator of the session, and looking forward to very exciting conversation today and more exciting conversations over the fortnight ahead. Thank you all so much. Dhanyavad. Kamsamnida.
Thank you, ma'am, for the welcome remarks and initiating the discussion. May I now call upon the moderator for this session, Dr. Cho Won Deuk, Research Professor from Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security at Republic of Korea, to preside over the session. Over to you, Dr. Cho.
Thank you, Dr. Sonu Trivedi. Thank you, Ambassador Sripriya Langananda, and thank you, Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Won-Deuk Cho, a research professor at the Center for ASEAN and India Studies of the Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security at Korea National Diplomatic Academy. It is my pleasure to moderate the inaugural session of the second online academic workshop on the facets of the India-ROK partnerships. In particular, our session discusses synergy between ROK's new Southern Policy Plus and India's activist policy in the Indo-Pacific region, exploring the way in which India and South Korea cooperate and contribute to peace and prosperity in the region. There is a growing synergy and complementarity between South Korea's new Southern Policy Plus and India's activist policy. Both policies actually are seeking to establish a peaceful, stable, secure, and prosperous and rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific regions. Recalling President Moon Jae-in's visit to India in 2018, actually, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Moon agreed to work towards fostering a future-oriented partnership for peace and prosperity and people. In the summit, the two countries considered each other as an indispensable partner and central pillar in their foreign policy initiatives. Since then, ROK-India ties have gained a new momentum. As a part of their future-oriented special strategic partnership, regular dialogues such as India-ROK foreign policy and security dialogue held today, and exchanges of visits and increased trade, economic, and defense cooperations are fast becoming commonplace. More recently, global challenges, including COVID-19 pandemic, climate changes, non-traditional security issues, provide a good opportunity for the two countries to cooperate with each other in the Indo-Pacific region. In that sense, we have two distinguished speakers to bring valuable insights for the opportunity. We have two very special addresses from India and South Korea. Our first speaker is Ambassador Oh Youngju, the president of the Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security at KNDA. As a veteran diplomat, she was appointed ambassador and deputy permanent representative for the Korean permanent mission to the United Nations in New York before coming to IFANS. She also previously served on major duties within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, such as the Deputy Minister for Multilateral and Global Affairs. Recently, she became a member of the board of the trustees for the United Nations Inter-Regional Crime and Justice Research Institute and will serve until 2024. Our second speaker, Her Excellency Ms. Riva Ganguly Das, Vice Minister of External Affairs of India. Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das is a career diplomat. She has served in several countries, which includes Spain, Bangladesh, Netherlands, China, Romania, Albania, and the United States. She has worked as a director at the United Nations Economic and Social Affairs Division and participated in environmental negotiations, particularly climate change. She was also the alternative permanent representative of India to the Organizations for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons at The Hague. She was ambassador of India to Romania with a concurrent accreditation to Albania and Moldova, and India's High Commissioner to Bangladesh. She was also Director General of Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Now, the first speaker, Ambassador Oh Youngju, will give her address, reflecting her personal opinion from a Korean perspective on synergy between ROK's New Southern Policy, and India's Act East policy. Let me turn the floor over to Ambassador Oh.
Thank you, Dr. Joe, for such a kind introduction. Her Excellency, the Secretary Riva Ganguly Das, and Ambassadors Sripriya Ranganathan, and Dr. Sonu Trivedi, and online participants from India and Korea. Good afternoon, all. I'm so delighted to join you all at this online workshop on Facets of the India ROK Special Strategic Partnership. I'm particularly glad to have this chance to address the inaugural session on synergies between the Republic of Korea's New Southern Policy Plus and the India's Act East policy in Indo-Pacific region. I think the theme of this session is indeed very relevant to understand the emerging contours of bilateral relations between ROK and India. In this light, I express my sincere thanks to the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center and the Embassy of India in Seoul for organizing this online workshop. Taking this opportunity, I would like to give my warm welcome to the Secretary Riva Ganguly Das for her visit to Seoul. I do believe that she has had a very fruitful and successful discussion meeting with her counterpart in Korea, ROK's Vice Foreign Minister, His Excellency Choi, at the bilateral strategic dialogue which was held in this morning. Also, although a bit late, congratulations on the 75th anniversary of India's independence. With this, I'd like to share my some thoughts that came to my mind on the theme of the inaugural session. As you are aware, and many others already mentioned that Korea and India are strategic partners since 2015. Bilateral relations between two countries have made rapid progress in all areas of mutual cooperation. However, trade and investment partnership have largely defined our bilateral relations for some time, even since 2015. Despite convergence in our strategic outlook, Korea and India have not been able to forge a kind of a strategic agenda of cooperation, which is genuinely expected from strategic partners. When President Moon Jae-in took office in May 2017, he reckoned the true importance of India as a strategic partner in changing geostrategic and geoeconomic realities of our region. He launched the New Southern Policy, Korea's new foreign policy initiative, focusing on India and ASEAN member states. This is indeed unprecedented for Korea to have a foreign policy initiative with a specific focus on India and ASEAN. The initiative has expanded ROK's diplomatic horizons beyond the major four powers, US, China, Japan, Russia, to include India and ASEAN. Now, for Korea, India is as important a partner as major four powers. Prime Minister Modi himself, I believe, as well expressed his genuine interest and hopes to improve a strategic partnership between two countries after taking power in 2014. New Southern Policy offered an opportunity to reinvigorate the bilateral ties by adding real substances. In particular, both leaders recognized Korea's New Southern Policy is in sync with India's Act East policy. The harnessing convergence in the policy initiatives have risen to the attention of both leaders as a way of building much more robust strategic partnership between our two countries. Against this backdrop, President Moon's visit to India in 2018 became a turning point in strengthening bilateral partnership in many senses. In the 2018 summit, the two leaders reaffirmed their resolution to work toward creating synergy between the New Southern Policy and the Act East policy as a way to promote regional economic prosperity, peace, and stability. In this light, cooperation between the two countries in strategic areas, including the defense and civil nuclear industries, increasingly expanding. Throughout the 2000 summit, the Seoul and New Delhi also set the stage for enhanced cooperation in future growth engines such as artificial intelligence, AI, Internet of Things, IoT, self-driving cars, and healthcare. Distinguished participants, this future-oriented strategic partnership between Korea and India has become ever so important and timely in responding to a new wave of challenges that the international community faces collectively. International society is experiencing the global spread of COVID-19 and its devastating impact. The rise of the digital transformation expedited by COVID-19 and the increasing importance of the non-traditional security issues, such as climate change, natural disaster, maritime pollution, to name a few. As the new wave of challenges in geopolitics is revealing, the demand for an increase in the future of further convergence between Korea's New Southern policy and India's Act East policy has emerged. Against this backdrop, the Korean government announced the New Southern Policy Plus in 2020, which reinforces the existing NPS. Let me briefly explain the main points of the New Southern Policy Plus. First, Korea is promoting comprehensive public health cooperation in the post-COVID-19 era, planning to engage in joint endeavors to strengthen public health capacities of the New Southern Policy region. We have already witnessed a great partnership between the two countries in fighting COVID-19. For instance, Korea's SD Biosense, through a manufacturing plant in India, has provided the diagnostic kits to help India's COVID-19 response. Also, just last month, Ambassador Ranganathan kindly opened up opportunities for Korean and India bio companies to discuss potential strategic cooperation for the two countries to lead global vaccine supply. As India has successfully developed and authorized the indigenous COVID-19 vaccine, including Covaxin and the Zydus Cadila, such a partnership will be beneficial for both countries in combating COVID-19 and beyond. Second, Korea is trying to share its education model and support human resource development, including its experience and know-how in fostering skilled personnel and advancing school education. Third, Korea is also promoting two-way cultural exchanges, supporting cultural exchange in the private sector, thereby deepening cultural ties between New Southern Policy partner countries and Korea. Korea has seen increasing interest in Korea's culture, such as K-pop, drama, music, as well as Korean language from India since last year. I heard that not only BTS, but also Korean dramas such as The Descendant of the Sun have been well received by the Indian people, vice versa. Koreans are very familiar with the Indian culture, such as yoga and Indian cuisine. Also, Indian movies, especially The Three Idiots and The Dangal, truly touched Korean people's hearts. Fourth, Korea is seeking to build a foundation for mutually beneficial and sustainable trade and investment, contributing to further boosting the industrial competitiveness and the enhancement of the economic structure of the region, and facilitating further direct investment by Korean companies and support small and medium-sized enterprises in the partner countries. India is a key partner to Korea in this regard. Not only did Korea's investment in India grow by 16% between 2019 and 2020, but major Korean companies such as Samsung Display are scaling up their investment in India to hundreds of millions of dollars. Also, the Korean government launched its first grant project to India last year to promote India's micro, small, and medium enterprise development. We hope that such efforts can build a stronger bridge between the two countries' private sectors. Fifth, Korea will cooperate in future industries for common prosperity, intensifying combined efforts with the New Southern Policy region into new technologies such as artificial intelligence and big data. Lastly, Korea will cooperate in promoting safety and peace at the transnational level, expanding joint endeavors with the ASEAN members and India in non-traditional security areas to ensure peace and stability and security for individuals in this region. The New Southern Policy Plus, an upgraded version of the New Southern Policy and a reflection of newly emerging challenges, shares more of the value of peace and prosperity, which are in line with India's activist policy. With COVID-19 reshaping regional dynamics, there is a significant room for both countries to accelerate cooperation and build deeper synergy in the Indo-Pacific region based upon our respective foreign policy initiatives. Distinguished participants, now I'd like to share my own thoughts on the specific areas and ways to further harness the convergence in the foreign policy initiatives of two countries. I believe both India and Korea have much opportunities to foster collaboration in the areas of science and technology. The two countries have already agreed to cooperate through establishing the Future Strategy Group and the Indo-Korean Center for Research and Innovation. The two countries will be able to move forward in leading areas such as digital transformation, AI, Internet of Things, bio and healthcare, electric cars, and many more. Korea's newly declared Digital New Deal policy and India's post-COVID economic revival initiative, such as a self-reliant India, provide a good foundation for the two countries to explore new economic opportunities, which are mutually beneficial and future-oriented. Cutting-edge projects such as smart cities and green cities are good examples for two countries to explore collectively in the near future. ASEAN is a region where the New Southern Policy Plus meet with the India activist policy. ASEAN has become a new hope of world reconstruction in the post-COVID-19 era with its excellent strategic location and economic potentials. The two countries respect ASEAN's centrality and hope to play a constructive role in reducing the development gap and enhancing the connectivity in Southeast Asia. In particular, both India and Korea are economically engaging with the Mekong region countries. The two countries may consider additional collaboration to strengthen connectivity and capacity building in the Mekong region. Korea and India share interest in non-traditional security issues as well, such as humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, search and rescue, and marine pollution, anti-piracy, counter-terrorism, and counter-trafficking, and the maritime domain awareness. India and Korea need to develop a regular strategic dialogue on non-traditional security issues and identify strategic areas where the two countries closely work together with a specific aim and plan. India and Korea partnership has major potential to grow multilaterally as well. Both countries' active engagement with and the constructive contribution to regional and global multilateral arrangement will serve as building blocks in promoting peace and stability in the region and beyond. Thus, we need to further explore collaboration between two countries in multilateral settings. Distinguished participants, as we see, all ingredients to build a more robust strategic partnership between our two countries are in place. Today, more than ever before, there is clear recognition and excitement between both in India and in Korea to take out the bilateral relationship to the next level, befitting our special strategic partnership and addressing common challenges. We have a century-old emotional connection symbolized by the marriage between our dear princess and the Korean king and India's much-needed help during the Korean War. We have no historical baggage, but only commonalities to share, neither conflict of interest, nor any geographical, political competition. We could not have asked for more. The time is quite opportune for a new era in Indo-Korea bilateral ties for people, peace, and shared prosperity. Above all, I think the most important factor in opening a new era between Korea and India is to foster human solidarity between the two peoples. We have seen how strong partnership and trust between professional badminton player Kusala Venkata Sindhu and her Korean coach, Park Tae-sang, led to her winning her second Olympic medal exactly 1 month ago. In addition, there is already great level of familiarity and a sense of closeness between Korean and Indian people. Thus, I believe that we can explore new avenues of cooperation, not just at the government level, but also through people-to-people exchange. I believe the online workshop on the Facets of the India-ROK Special Strategic Partnership is timely and effective platform in seeking a new chapter of strengthening relations between India and Korea. I hope the online workshop will continue to be a great success and attract much interest from Korea and Indian people. Finally, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the organizers of today's event, the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center and the Embassy of India in Seoul for inviting me to this meaningful workshop. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ambassador Orr, for the insightful address. Ambassador Orr touched upon some important opportunities for ROK India cooperation, such as potential cooperation for global vaccine partnerships, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic era. In addition, she made some suggestions on how the two countries further strengthen their ties in the Indo-Pacific region. Among them is a growing opportunity to collaborate in the science and technology field, especially digital transformations. As Ambassador O mentioned, people-to-people ties of the two countries should be further strengthened, as an episode of India's badminton medals at Olympics shows as an example. Now our second speaker, Vice Minister Ms. Riva Ganguly Das will give her speech. She will discuss her opinion from an Indian perspective on synergy between India's Act East policy and Korea's New Southern Policy Plus. Let me turn the floor over to Secretary Riva Ganguly Das.
Good afternoon, namaste. Warm greetings to all my Korean friends who have joined the workshop. It gives me immense pleasure to speak at the inaugural session of the 2-week-long workshop on facets of India-ROK Special Strategic Partnership. I thank the Indian Embassy Seoul and Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center Seoul for organizing this online workshop, which focuses on various topical issues that are central to India-ROK relations today. I also thank the Institute of Foreign Affairs and National Security and the Korean Partner Organization for today's session for joining this initiative of the Embassy and the Cultural Center. I'm delighted to see the range of Korean think tanks, academic institutions, journalists, and experts who are partnering or participating in this academic exercise, illustrating the interest in this important relationship. Friends, the topic of today's session is finding synergies between New Southern Policy plus the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative, which I find very interesting as it captures the essence of India-ROK partnership and its various nuances. Allow me to dwell a bit on the Indian concept of Indo-Pacific while outlining India's vision for the Indo-Pacific at the Shangri-La Dialogue in June 2018. Prime Minister Modi indicated the geographical reach of India's idea of Indo-Pacific, embracing Africa and extending to the Americas, which covers both the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Historically, Indian and Pacific Oceans have enjoyed a deep interconnect, facilitating the flow of goods and people, building on commerce and cultural linkages. In that sense, the Indo-Pacific has also always been a seamless, contiguous construct presenting a continuum in time and geography. With greater globalization and an increased focus on Asia, this vast region has experienced strong and sustained economic growth spreading from across the Pacific Rim to Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Gulf region, and all the way to the east coast of Africa. This economic dynamism has led to increased connectivity, regional integration, and greater economic opportunities. The epicenter of global activity in terms of economic development and trade has shifted eastwards. Now, over 50% of global trade passes through the Indo-Pacific, and it generates over 62% of global GDP. Emerging economies of the region have become the primary drivers of the global growth, shifting the economic center of gravity to this region. The 21st century would see increasing focus on the Indo-Pacific region, connecting Africa, Asia, Eurasia's Pacific coast, Oceania, and the Pacific coast of the Americas. For India, Indo-Pacific construct is not new. It has always been there and part of the India story. Of late, there has been a renewed realization of the importance of this concept in our strategic thinking. The reason for this is perhaps the fact that more and more of our trade is now headed to the east of India, and a significant part of it passes through the Indo-Pacific. To give you a sense, last year our bilateral trade with ASEAN was $87 billion, while China, it was $82 billion. With Japan and Korea together, it was $38 billion. With US, it was over $88 billion, and with Australia, around $13 billion. In the Indian Ocean region, our trade with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh together was around $15 billion. With UAE and Gulf, our trade was totaled at about $59 billion, and with Saudi Arabia, it was $33 billion. In Africa, with South Africa, Kenya, Mozambique, and Tanzania, we had combined trade of around 18 billion. This, combined with the human bridge in the form of people-to-people linkages that India has with the whole world, encompassing Indo-Pacific, gives it a much deeper meaning. Be it the linkages with the East African countries or the connections with the Gulf countries facilitated by the monsoon winds or the cultural connect in the Southeast Asia, imparts another layer of distinctive characteristic to the Indo-Pacific concept. This economic engagement and people-to-people dynamism of the region is equally reflected in India's relationship with the region. In a way, the neighborhood first and act east policy of Government of India symbolizes our priority and focus areas. The Indo-Pacific region has been integrated well into India's foreign policy. India has been a founding member of the Indian Ocean Rim Association set up in 1997. We are actively involved in ASEAN-centric regional architecture and have forged strong bonds with Pacific Island Forum and Pacific Alliance. India has also enunciated its Sagar doctrine of security and growth for all in the region in 2015 and has articulated its Indo-Pacific vision in 2018 along with its practical implementation in the form of Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative or IPOI in 2019. The first Indo-Pacific Business Summit was also held under Sagar doctrine and IPOI, which supports building of a rules-based regional architecture centered on 7 pillars, including trade and maritime connectivity. India's Indo-Pacific vision envisages a free, open, and inclusive region, which embraces all nations in the region and beyond in a common pursuit of progress and prosperity. The Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative is a practical implementation of this vision with its 7 pillars of cooperation and collaboration. It was announced by Prime Minister at the 14th East Asia Summit in 2019 as an inclusive concept with a view to promote practical cooperation in 7 specific areas. These are maritime security, maritime ecology, maritime resources, capacity building and resource sharing, disaster risk reduction and management, science, technology and academic cooperation, and trade connectivity and maritime transport. While we have invited countries to take part in these initiatives out of their own volition, a few of them have indicated interest to join in some of the pillars based on their strength. Naturally, we would be interested to have a coordinated approach as we endeavor to work on these pillars. For the ROK side, the new Southern policy has been one of the mainstay of foreign policy objectives of Professor Moon, which was unveiled in 2017 to elevate the relationship with ASEAN countries and India and bring it at par with ROK's relationship with its 4 traditional allies. This has of late been revised and upgraded to NSP+, under which Seoul has prioritized on 7 key initiatives, which include comprehensive health and medical cooperation to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic, sharing Korea's education and human resource development models, promotion of cultural exchanges by utilizing Hallyu concept, developing mutually beneficial trade relations and investment, cooperation in the development of farming and urban infrastructure, cooperation in future industries, and cooperation in non-conventional security. Given the vast scope and ambit of these initiatives, I'm optimistic that both our friendly countries could find a lot of common ground to synergize and dovetail our efforts to achieve maximum benefits under the framework of India's IPOI as well as Act East policy and ROK's NSP+. To my mind, some of these areas of joint collaboration and cooperation could include comprehensive public health cooperation in post-COVID era. Under this, both sides can cooperate through signing of MOUs on healthcare, Ayurveda, yoga, and other complementary forms of medical treatment, combining modern medical advances with our traditional wisdom. Both ROK and India have strong base in biopharma industry and health sector. ROK's known prowess in R&D capabilities, coupled with India's ability to produce pharmaceutical formulations and vaccines at scale, can complement each other. We welcome Korean companies setting up manufacturing plants in India. We welcome such investments in healthcare sector, which will be of mutual benefit. Friends, India and ROK can lead the world in the fourth industrial revolution. There is enough scope for cooperation in 5G, AI, big data, EVs, hydrogen fuel, battery, etc. India's expertise in software skills, big data, AI, and ROK's expertise in 5G, EV, batteries, etc. can be synergized to lead the fourth industrial revolution. Startup cooperation is another important area. With the opening of Korean Startup Hub in India in 2019, during the visit of our Honorable Prime Minister, both the countries have shown keen interest and is working on various areas of startup cooperation, beginning from flow of capital to Indian startup ecosystem, entry of Korean startups into India, identifying areas of developing solutions, startup exchanges, participation in major events. India and ROK are expanding the wider spectrum in this domain. Indian Embassy in Seoul has conducted 3 VC Connect programs in the recent past to connect the stakeholders between the two countries to help them understand each other to build on a long-term partnership and investment. In future, startups will be a major component of the India-Korea strategic partnership. Textiles is another sector where there is huge potential for cooperation between India and ROK. Indian textiles are known for their quality and variety worldwide. There exists tremendous scope in enhancing people-to-people interactions and human resource development. ROK has a strong education system with one of the highest literacy rates in the world. India has recently added Korean language in school curriculum as one of the elective foreign languages under the new Education Policy 2020. While there has been tremendous interest in the Korean language among the youth in India, particularly aided by the growing popularity of Korean Wave, we need to create avenues to employment opportunities, internship for people learning Korean, so that there is a natural demand for them to utilize their linguistic skills. This will encourage students to consider the Korean language subject seriously as a career option. Both countries should collectively review the contents of the school textbooks so that the history and culture of the two countries are reflected in its true sense. Student exchanges and university-university linkages, industry-academia linkages could also be taken under this rubric. Friends, this workshop provides an excellent platform to exchange thoughts, develop ideas for both India and ROK, and find innovative ways to deepen our bilateral and multilateral cooperation. I'm sure the illustrious lineup of speakers and institutions from India and ROK will make valuable contributions, making the workshop rich content-wise. I look forward to constructive deliberations over the course of next few days and some useful ideas flowing from this workshop. I wish this workshop great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Minister Riva Ganguly Das, for the insightful speech. Vice Minister Riva Ganguly Das pointed out that the two countries could have much opportunity to make synergies between India's Act East policy and recently announced Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative and Korea's New Southern Policy Plus. In particular, suggesting joint collaboration and cooperation on public health in post-coronavirus era. At the same time, Korea and India have actively engaged in regional and global multilateral framework, such as Indian Ocean Rim Association and ASEAN-led multilateral mechanisms. For your information, Korea joined Indian Ocean Rim Association as a dialogue partner, and since then, Korea tried to actively engage in IORA. Actually, India is a founding member and leading power in Indian Ocean Rim Association. At the same time, as Ambassador Oh and the Secretary Riva Ganguly Das mentioned, Korea and India are actively engaging and participating in the ASEAN-led institutional mechanisms, such as the ASEAN-led the Summit and East Asia Summit and the Mekong Cooperation. So we have a bunch of the opportunity to cooperate with each other in the multilateral mechanism as well as a bilateral settings. At the same time, the C also pointed out that ROK India can be key players to lead the world in the fourth industrial revolution, such as 5G, artificial intelligence, big data, and so on. As President Moon and Prime Minister Modi agreed to further cooperate on the fourth industrial revolution in 2018, and two countries try to play a constructive role in leading the fourth industrial revolutions and so on. And I think the Ambassador O and Vice Minister Riva Ganguly Das, to a large extent, shared the common perspective on the future direction of ROK India special strategic partnerships. In that regard, I'm looking forward to seeing the practical and the creative ways of strengthening India and ROK partnership in the next sessions of the workshop in next 2 weeks. I think I need to wrap it up the inaugural sessions right now, and thank you for all the participants and the audience for joining this session, and I'm sure it was a great time to learn and think more about the future direction of India and ROK special strategic partnerships. And today is the first day of the second online academic workshop on facets of the India-ROK partnership. I hope you will have a successful online workshop series in next few 2 weeks. And I would like to express my gratitude to Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center and Embassy of India in Seoul for preparing this session today. And thank you all for joining these sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Cho, for moderating the session, and many thanks to all the dignitaries present here today. A special thanks to Ambassador Youngju, President of IFANS, for her special address, and also to Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, for her special address. In fact, there would have been no other way to start this second online workshop on India Republic of Korea partnership other than the special address by Ambassador O and Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, and the topic which we chose for the inaugural session was also apt, as both the speakers have outlined on the Indian story of the the Indo-Pacific construct, and Her Excellency Riva Ganguly Das, she elaborated on India's approach to activist policy and the Indo-Pacific region, and Ambassador O also highlighted on the Korean story and the Korean perspective on the new Southern policy, plus as well as on her perspective on the Indo-Pacific region. The major takeaways, we can say that from this session is that we've had an excellent discussion. The major takeaways could be that beginning from the historical ties, from the story of Princess Suriratna, who came to Korea and married the King Kim Suro, to the present special strategic partnership that we have. So the relationship has moved a long way, and aptly Ambassador O summarized it by saying how we should focus on human solidarity, and how the Korean coach of the badminton player PV Sandhu, her Korean coach Park Tae-sang, how he prepared PV Sindhu for winning the Olympic medal. So this talks about the people-to-people ties. So we need not only focus on the historical ties, but yes, and how K-dramas and the language has been building up people-to-people ties between the two countries. These are some lessons to be learned. Not only that, another takeaway from this session that has come up is about having cooperation in non-traditional security areas, and this has been also aptly highlighted by both the speakers, and also cooperation in the field of science and technology, fourth industrial revolution, big data, AI, Internet of Things, startup cooperation, digital New Deal, and Atmanirbhar Bharat. They have these are mutually beneficial. They offer mutually beneficial opportunities, and I'm sure both the countries would able to gain a lot from this. Then other areas that have come up are about collaboration in the field of smart cities, green cities, capacity building, and also cooperation at the multilateral forums. So I'm sure these issues will be further deliberated upon in the other sessions that we have for the next 2 weeks. Tomorrow, we have the second session focusing on COVID-19, overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic, a business perspective. I'm sure we will get enough time to interact with the participants today, since it was the inaugural session. Our dignitaries were busy, so we could not take the questions. Tomorrow, we will have a more deeper interaction with the participants, and hope we will be able to answer all the queries. With this, we formally end this session and hope to see you all tomorrow at India time 11:30 and at 3 p.m. The Korea time. Let us hope to carry forward this discussion that we have started today, and I hope many more questions will come up, and this entire exercise would be a learning experience for all of us. Thank you all. Thank you. Kamsahamnida.